A set of blocks for today. Let's start this morning in child's pose. If you would like, you can place a block under your forehead, so knees drawing towards the edge of your mat, toes to touch. If you like that block, you can place it under your forehead, reaching your forehead down to the block or the floor, stretching your fingertips out long towards the top of your mat. Just letting your hips sink in towards your heels, letting your forehead rest on the earth or on that block. Holding here and breathing. Breathing in and out through your mouth. Filling your belly, ribs, and lungs, expanding in all dimensions. Filling all the way to the top. And then slowly exhale, lungs, ribs, and belly. As you continue with that breath, actively think about stretching your fingertips long towards the top of the mat. You can tempt your fingers to increase that sensation in your shoulders, actively pressing your hips in towards your heels, back towards the bottom of your mat. Full exhale. On the next one, sealing your lips when you get to the top. You're taking in one more sip of air. And now exhaling through your nose, building that heat within your body this morning. Okay. Oh, that wants to do yoga with me this morning. Continuing again with that breath, breathing in and out through your nose. She's fine. Maybe gently rolling your forehead from side to side. Come here, Lucy. If you'd like to deepen your shoulders and tricep stretch, you can bend your elbows, bringing your palms to touch at the crown of your head. That's option one. You want to deepen that stretch. Draw your thumbs towards the nape of your neck. Maybe walking your elbows towards the crown of your head, still actively pressing your hips in towards your heels. Hold it here for the exhale. Gently release your palms down to the floor. Walk your hands over to the left side of your mat. You can keep your left palm down the floor, or you can also bind around towards your right hip. Opening up your left shoulder, feeling that deep stretch all along the right side body. Right palm stays pressed in towards the floor. Hold it here for the exhale. If you have your left hand bound, gently release it down to the floor to meet the right. Walk your hands through center, over to the right side of your mat. Sinking your hips in towards your heels. You are welcome to keep your right hand on the floor, or you can bind it around towards your left hip, opening up that right shoulder. Holding and breathing. So I'm turning it down just a little bit. Really loud. From here, if you have your right hand binded, go ahead and release it back down. Come back to the center. Hold it here for one more breath. Then you rock up, find a tabletop position, stacking your wrists under your shoulders, knees under your hips. Tuck your toes, lift your gaze, hammock your belly. Deep inhale. On the exhale, come to neutral spine, untuck your toes. Round your spine up towards the ceiling, gaze towards the tops of your thighs. Come through neutral spine, tuck your toes, hammock your belly, shine your heart forward. Lift up, deep inhale. On your exhale, untuck your toes, round your spine. Continuing with that, but leaving the top shoelace portion of your foot on the floor. Coming through neutral spine, hammock your belly, lift your gaze, deep inhale, coming through cow. On the exhale, round your spine. Draw your navel deep in towards your spine and up. One more time, just like that. Hammock your belly, lift your gaze, deep inhale for cow. On your exhale, round your spine, coming into cat. Come back to a neutral spine. Maybe patter out your toes. You can bump your hips side to side. You can come into some barrel rolls, drawing your hips towards your wrists, down to one side. And then what you do in one direction, just repeat in the other direction. Holding here and breathing. All right, from here, lift your left arm high, deep inhale. Exhale, tuck your left hand under the right side, hovering that left arm. Inhale, lift. Exhale, thread the left arm under the right side body. Once more, inhale, lift. Open that left chest. Exhale, draw your left hand all the way under and through. You can place your left ear or cheek on the floor, maybe on a block. You're welcome to extend your right arm to deepen that sensation. You can also bind your right hand, opening up your right shoulder. You can extend that right leg if you like. Holding and breathing. If you have that right leg extended, go ahead and leave it there. Press up. Deep inhale, lift your left arm high. Exhale, draw your left hand under your left shoulder. Extend your right leg if you previously had it tucked. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, draw your right knee to your right elbow. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, draw that right leg over the left side. Gently gazing over your left shoulder. Inhale, lengthen. One more time. Kick it straight back. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, rainbow that right leg over the left side. Maybe looking over your left shoulder. You want to deepen that sensation. You can gently rock your left side over, bringing your right heel towards the floor. You can also rock to your right toes. Hold it here for the exhale. Gently draw your right knee back in line. Maybe bump your hips side to side. Come back to a tabletop. Inhale, lengthen right arm high. Exhale, sweep it under and through the left side body. Inhale, lengthen right arm reaches up high. Exhale, draw that right hand under and through the left side body. One more time. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, draw that right hand under and through. Full thread the needle. You can release your right ear or cheek to the floor or onto a block if you'd prefer. You're welcome to keep that left hand boxed out. You can also extend your left arm long, maybe tempt your fingers. You're also welcome to extend that left leg long like a kickstand. Gently release your left hand back on your left shoulder if you have it extended. Inhale, lengthen, sweep your right arm high. Exhale, release your right hand under your right shoulder. Extend your left leg if you previously had it tucked. Inhale, lift. Exhale, tuck your knee to your elbow. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, draw that left leg to the outside of your right hip, looking over your right shoulder. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, left knee to left elbow. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, sweep. Holding here for a few breaths. You can rock to your left heel to deepen that stretch. You can also rock to your left toes or ball your foot. Gently draw your left knee back in line under your hips. Bump your hips side to side. Gently walk your hands up, palm print forward, tuck your toes, lift your hips coming into your first downward dog this morning. Maybe pedal out your heels. Lifting and lowering one foot at a time. Biceps frame your ears. Inhale, lengthen, lift your both heels off the floor. Lower them over to the right side. Feeling that deep stretch all on the right side body. Your heels do not have to touch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release your heels over to the left side. This time feeling the stretch all on the left side body. Inhale, come back through center. Pedal a few more, maybe bend and extend both of your knees. From here, gently walk your feet towards your hands, coming into a forward fold and your neck hang nice and loose. Half lift hands to shins, crown of your head pulling towards the top of your mat. Back to a forward fold. You can grab opposite elbows and sway side to side. You can have any amount of bend in your knees. Let your neck hang nice and loose. Gentle ragdoll side to side. Gently coming back to the middle, release your hands down towards the floor. Step or hop your feet out, coming back to a high plank. From here, keep your elbows tucked in. Option to lower your knees at any time. We're going to lower down for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release all the way down, untuck your toes. Give me 2 mini cobras, press up, palms press in towards the floor. Lift your chest. Gently release down. 1 more just like that, mini cobra, press up. Release back down. Keep your left hand to your left shoulder, extend your right arm long from your right shoulder. You can also cactus that right arm if you would like. Relax your right leg, lift your left leg high, that's option 1. You want to deepen the stretch. You can rock to your right hip, drawing your left toe to the outside of your right hip. Right hand can be straight. You can also cactus that arm, opening up your left hip and your right shoulder. Hold it for the exhale. Gently rock back onto your belly. Placing your right hand, your right shoulder, press up, mini cobra. Release down. Extend your left arm long out from your left shoulder, or you can also cactus that left arm, your choice. Keep your right hand boxed out under your right shoulder. Left leg is relaxed, lift your right leg high. That's option 1 if you want to rock to your left hip, bending your right knee, gently coming onto your left hip, opening up your right hip and your left shoulder. Hold it here for 1 more breath. Gently rock back onto your belly, placing your left hand under your left shoulder, 1 mini cobra. Release back down. Walk your hands to your lowest rib cage. We're going to do a full cobra. Inhale, lengthen. Lifting up tall. You can lift your hips, maybe your thighs up off the floor, coming into upward facing dog. You can also keep your thighs down. Gently look over your left shoulder. Come back through center. Over your right shoulder. Back through center. Gaze up. Bring your gaze forward. Come through tabletop or tuck your toes, coming to downward facing dog. Lift your hips up high, pedal out your heels. All right. We're nice and warm. We're going to come into our little fun mini flow series here. I'm just going to turn and face the other way, so when I open up, I can face you all. Inhale, lengthen, lift your right leg high. Three-legged dog. Bend your right knee, stack your hip. Maybe look out under your left armpit. Look at your right toes. You can circle out your right ankle. Maybe circle out your right hip. Inhale, kick that right leg straight back. Lengthen up. From here, step your right foot through. Coming into low crescent, left leg is lifted. We're going to lift up into warrior three. Place your hands on those blocks if you'd like. Left leg is lifted, straight, hips are square. You can have a bend that right knee. We're going to open up to half moon, keeping your right leg down. If you fall, that's okay. I always say, if you're not trying, you're not falling. This is a challenging one because we're opening up that hip. So we're coming from warrior three variance with our hands on the block. It's a little bit hard with your hands on the block. Opening up to half moon. Woo. There we go. All right, bend into that front right knee. We're going to find warrior two. Lower that left leg. So your left toes are pointed forwards, right toes are open. We're going to do a single star pose. So lift up, straighten your front right leg. Bend into that front right knee. Let's do a fluid reverse warrior. So just like tree-like arms, extended side angle. One more time on the other side. Reverse. Bring it back down. Cartwheel down, framing your right foot. From here, we're going to kick our right leg back, coming in three-legged dog. From here, flip your dog. Draw your right leg over your right hip. Press your hips forward. From here, we're going to draw those hips down, crunch, and lift. One more. Crunch down, and lift. Flip your dog. Pedal out your heels. That is it. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Starting back with your downward facing dog. We're going to do it a few times, so don't worry if you don't get the first time, just like I didn't. That is okay. Lift your left leg high, three-legged dog. Bend your left knee, stack your hip. Open up your left hip here. Circle out your left ankle. Maybe gaze out under your right armpit. You can circle out your left hip. Kick that left leg straight back, three-legged dog. Step through high crescent. Keep that right leg lifted. You can place your hands on blocks here on the floor. We're going to hold on to that block. Lift your right leg up. Warrior three. Right leg is straight. Right toes are flexed. All right, we're going to open up that right hip. Opening up to half moon here. Left hand down. Right arm up. Flex that right foot. You can gaze down or up. Hold it here for a breath. Bend into your front left knee. Lower that right foot down, coming into warrior two. Give me one star. Lengthen that left leg. Arms up. Deep bend. Fluid arms, just like a tree. Reverse your warrior. Come into extended side angle. One more time through each side. Reverse. Extended side. Cartwheel down, framing your left foot. Pivot your right toes. Lift your left leg back, three-legged dog, just where we started. You're welcome to hold it here. If you like to flip your dog, draw that left leg over the right hip. Bump your hips up, left arm high. Drop your hips down. And lift. One more. Drop down. And lift. Come back, flip your dog if you were in wild thing. Pedal out your heels. All right, that is our flow. Take out anything that doesn't suit you this morning. Add anything that you'd like. You can stay in any position or play, moving through the flows. Pull out those heels. Find your breath. Inhale, lengthen, right leg high. Bend your right knee. Square out your hips. Draw your knee to your nose. We're going to hold it here for 3, 2, and 1. Step your right foot in between your palms. Hold it here for a breath. You got this. We're gonna lift that left leg, coming into warrior three, flex your left toes. You can place your hands on the floor or on blocks. All right, from here, we're gonna pivot, opening up that left hip. Right hand stays down. You can lift your left arm high if you like. Any variance of half moon here. You want to open up that left hip. Hold it for the exhale. All right, we're going to bend to that right knee, lower your left leg. Find your warrior two. Adjust your feet if you need to. Inhale, lengthen. Give me one big star. Exhale, bend. Fluid like arms. Reverse your warrior. Extended side. Maintain that bend in the front right knee. Reverse. And extended side. Cartwheel down, framing your right foot. Pivot your left toes forward. Place your hands on the floor or blocks. Inhale, lift your right leg high, three-legged dog. You're welcome to hold it here. You'll be bending that right knee, playing with wild thing if you like. If you want, you can flip your dog, coming into wild thing, right arm high. Exhale, crunch, and lift. One more, crunch, and lift. If you're in wild thing, come back, flip your dog. Pedal out your heels. Find your breath here. Inhale, and lift your left leg high. Bend your left knee, stack your hip. Square out your left leg. Draw your knee to your nose. We're going to hold it here for 3, 2, and 1. Step your left foot in between your palms. Find your focus. You got this. We're going to press into that left foot, lifting the right leg high, coming into warrior three. Hands on the floor, hands on blocks, your choice. Lift up. Keep those hips square here. Flex your right toes down to the floor. All right, we're going to pivot. Pivot our hips here. Opening up into half moon. Still keeping that right leg flexed. You can have that right leg close to the floor or lift up as high as you like. Left hand down, right arm up or on your hip. Hold it for one more breath. All right, bend to that front left knee. Lower your right foot, coming into warrior two. Inhale, lengthen, big star. Exhale, bend. Maintain that bend in your front left knee. Reverse. Extended side. One more time through nice fluid movements. Extended side. Cartwheel down. Frame your left foot. Hands on the floor or hands on blocks. Inhale, kick your left leg back. Hold it here. You can bend that left knee. That is option 1. If you'd like, you can flip your dog, drawing that left leg further over from your right hip. Press your hips up. Bend into your knees, tap your hips, and lift. Tap down, and lift. Come back, flip your dog. Pedal out your heels. All right. One more time through. You got this. Pedal out your heels. Find your focus. All right, inhale, lengthen the right leg high. Bend your right knee, stack your hip, biceps, frame your ears. Really open up that right hip here. Square out your hips. Kick your right leg straight back. Tuck your knee into your nose. This time we're going to hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Step your right foot in between your palms. Hands can be on the floor. Hands can be on blocks. Keep that bend in your right knee as you hinge forward, lifting your left leg up. Holding here and breathing. Warrior 3 variation. Keep that left leg straight. Really flex your left toes down towards the floor. Placing your right hand on the block or floor. You can keep your left hand down as well. We're going to open up that left hip. If you want to open up that hip even more, maybe releasing your left hand to your hip. maybe up towards the ceiling. Maybe lift that left leg higher. You can challenge your balance. Woo. All right, from here, hold it for one more breath. Bend into that front right knee. Lower your left leg down. Find our warrior two. Adjust your feet if you need to. Hold it here for a breath. Inhale, lengthen. Straighten your right leg, big star. Deep into that front right knee. Maintain that bend. Fluid tree-like arms. Reverse your warrior. Extended side. And reverse. Extended side. From here, cartwheel down, framing your right foot. Hold it here for a breath. Inhale, lengthen, kick your right leg straight back. You can lower that right leg down at any time. You can bend that right knee, maybe just thinking about it. You can flip your dog into wild thing. Lift your right arm high. Hold your hips high. Hold it for the exhale. Inhale, crunch. Exhale, lift. One more time. Inhale, crunch. Exhale, lift. If you're in wild thing, go ahead. Flip your dog, coming back to downward facing dog. Pull out your heels. All right. Let's do it one more time on the left side. And we're going to cool ourselves down. The much deserved stretch. Continue pedaling out those heels. Focus on your breath. Inhale, lengthen, lift your left leg high. Bend your left knee, stack your hips. Really open up that left hip here. That'll help you in half moon. Square out your hips. Kick your left leg straight back. Flex your left toes. Draw your knee to your nose. Point your toe. Hold it here for a 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Step your left foot in between your palms. Hands can be on the floor or on blocks, your choice. Holding here and breathing. Find your breath. All right, when you're ready, bend into that left knee. Lift your right leg high. Coming into warrior 3 variation. Really try to press the sole of your right foot back to the wall behind you. Almost as if someone's pulling your right leg back. It can be lower towards the floor. It can be super high. Any variation, anything that works for you this morning. Hold it for the exhale. All right, keep your left hand on the floor. Release your right hand to your hip or up towards the ceiling. We're going to open up into half moon. Opening up that right hip. This will help us transition into warrior 2. You can keep your gaze down. You can challenge your balance by gazing up. Hold it here for one more breath. All right, bend into that front left knee, lower your right foot. Coming into warrior 2. Adjust your feet if you need to. Inhale, lengthen, straighten that left leg. Exhale, bend. Maintain that bend in the knee, reverse your warrior. And extended side. One more time through reverse. And extended side. Frame your left foot, cartwheel your hands down. Hands to the floor or to blocks. Inhale, lengthen, kick your left leg straight back. This is option 1. Option 2, you can bend that left knee. You can lower that left foot to the outside of your right hip, coming into wild thing. Or just think about it. Gently rock over. Lift your hips nice and high. Exhale. Tap your hips down. Inhale, lengthen one more time. Exhale, tap. Inhale, lengthen. If you're in wild thing, come back, flip your dog into downward facing dog. Pull out your heels. All right, gently lower your knees down. Draw your knees wide. We're going to come in child's pose. Just where we started. Placing your forehead on the floor or to blocks. Your choice. Lengthening your arms out long in front, sinking your hips in towards your heels. Inhales, deep exhales, breathing in and out through your nose. Arms extend out long in front. Lift up, rock your shoulders over your wrist. Heels in towards your glutes. Lower down for 3, 2, and 1. From here, extend your legs, tap your toes. Draw your feet so they're hip width apart and parallel. Draw your arms by your side, palms down, pinkies in, thumbs out. Coming into locust, we're going to lift up, squeeze your glutes, release down. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, lengthen, squeeze your glutes up to everything super high. Gaze up towards the ceiling if you can. Release down. Slow and controlled. Inhale, lengthen, lift up. Hold it for 3, 2, and 1. Gently release down. You can bend your knees, moving your feet side to side. Go ahead and extend your legs out long. Walk your hands under your shoulders. Press up, tuck your toes, coming into down dog. Pull out your heels. Lift your right leg high, 3-legged dog. Bend your right knee. Keep the knee bent, and then draw your right knee to your right wrist. Coming into pigeon. If this isn't comfortable for you, you can come onto your back, drawing your right knee in towards your chest. You can walk your hands up towards your hips, hands on the floor or hands on blocks, gazing up. If you like to release your quads, squeeze your glutes. When you're ready, you can also keep it up high. You're also welcome to come down onto your forearms or bringing your forearms down to blocks. You can rock your hips side to side, deepening that stretch. All right, from here, let's thread the needle, lift your left arm high. Exhale, sweep it under and through the right side body. Left palm facing up. You can release your left cheek or ear to the floor. You can extend your right arm long. You can bind it around towards your hips. Full body stretch here. If you're on your back, you can draw your right ankle over your left thigh, grabbing behind your left thigh, pulling your left knee in, opening up that right hip. Similar stretch on your back. If you're in pigeon and thread the needle, and your right hand's binded, release it back down, press yourself up. Bring your hands to your hips, rock to your outer right hip. Sweep that left knee, and just face you back. Sweep that left knee so that your left knee is touching the sole of your right foot, coming into a 90-90 position. From here, lift your hips up, press your hips forward, slowly and gently release your hips back down. You can keep your hands up, you can also keep your hands on blocks. Rotate back so your left knee's on the floor, your left foot is touching your right thigh. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Come back to the top. So sole of your right foot is touching your left knee. Gently place your hands down. Step your feet back, coming into down dog. Pull out your heels. We're going to repeat the same thing on the left side. Lift your left leg high, three-legged dog. Bend your left knee, stack your hip. Keep that left knee bent, and then draw your left knee to your left wrist. If you're on your back, just draw your left knee in towards your chest. If you're in pigeon, you can tuck your right toes, drawing your right leg further back, and then untuck your toes. You can walk your hands in towards your hips, hands on the floor, blocks. Release your right quad, squeeze your glute, gaze up, look up. You're welcome to stay here at any point. You can also fold forward, deepening the stretch on the left side. Maybe rock side to side. If you're on your back and you want to deepen that stretch, place your left ankle over your right thigh, and then draw your right knee in towards your chest, just gently clasping behind your right thigh. If you're in pigeon and you like to try thread the needle on this side, lift your right arm high. Exhale, sweep it under and through the left side body. You can just gently release your right ear or cheek down to the floor. You can extend your left arm long. You can bind it around towards your hip. You're on your back, drawing your right knee in closer towards your chest. To deepen that sensation, you can lessen that grip or release your right foot to release that sensation in your left hip. If you're in thread the needle, go ahead and come on out, bringing your hands to your hips, rocking onto your left hip. Slide your right knee up to meet the sole of your left foot. Hands to blocks or hands to heart center, anything to help you balance. Inhale, lift your hips up, press forward. Slowly and gently with a controlled movement, release your hips back down. Rock your outer right knee towards the floor. Bring the sole of your right foot to the top of your left thigh. Inhale, lengthen, press your hips forward. Slow and controlled. Lower your hips back down to the floor. Come back to the top. Bring your hands down to the floor. Lift up, find your downward facing dog. Pull out your heels. Gently lower your knees down to the floor, coming to a tabletop. Lower your left or right hip towards the mat, and then coming onto your back, keeping your knees bent. Bring a block with you, block between your palms, feet are flat on the floor. You can also extend your legs out long, your choice. Lower down, slow and controlled. Think one vertebrae at a time. The slower the better. You can also release your hands down to the floor at any time. Release all the way down. Place the block off to the side. Bend your knees, soles of your feet onto the floor. Squeeze your glutes, lift your hips. Place the block at any setting under your hips. And then letting your hips fall down onto the block. Seeing how that feels for you today. And just letting your hips just release onto that block. If you'd like to try extending one leg at a time, maybe both legs, just seeing how that feels this morning. Had your legs extended, go ahead and bring them back in towards your hips. From here, lengthen one leg at a time up towards the ceiling. Support legs up the wall, point, flex, circle out your ankles. You can also reach your hands up towards your toes, circling everything out. Gently bending your knees, one at a time or both together, bringing your feet back to the floor. Squeeze your glutes, lift your hips up, step that block off to the side. Release your hips back down. Draw your knees into your chest. You can grab your shins, you can grab your hamstrings, and just rolling from one side to the next. Keeping your knees in towards your chest, either maintaining that grip on the back side of your thighs, or you can release it to the outer edges of your feet, coming into happy baby. Knees track towards the outside of your rib cage. Soles of your feet up towards the ceiling, deep bend in both of your knees. You can extend one leg at a time. You can extend both legs. Draw the soles of the feet to touch. If something doesn't suit you today, you can just take it out, replace it with something else. And draw your knees back in together. Keep your right knee in towards your chest. Clasp your hands under your right knee. Extend your left leg long to a hover. Flex your left leg. Tuck your chin to your chest, hovering your shoulders. Point, flex, circle out that right ankle. Gently release your left leg and your shoulders onto the floor. With your left hand, gently grab the outside of your right knee, point across the left side of your body. Supine twist. Everything's snap, crackling, popping on my end. You can gently release your right hand long out from your right shoulder. You can open up that shoulder more by bending your right elbow, palm facing up in a cactus pose. Hold it here for one more breath. Gently come back to the middle, draw your right knee in towards your right shoulder. Drawing a few circles here, and then reverse the direction. Gently draw your left knee in towards your left shoulder, clasping your hands beneath your left shin. Extend your right leg long to a hover, flex your right foot. Lift your shoulders up, point, flex, circle out that left ankle. Gently release your right leg and shoulders onto the floor. With your right hand, grabbing the outside of your left knee, gently pulling across the right side of your body, keeping your right hip on the floor, looking over your left shoulder. You can extend your left arm long, maybe bending your left elbow, palm facing up. Hold it here for one more breath. Gently come back to the middle, clasping your hands around your left shin, drawing a few circles with your left knee, and reverse. Gently releasing your left leg long. Hips are on the floor, reach your arms overhead, and then gently draw your feet over to the right side of your mat. Then gently draw your arms over to the right side, making a moon or banana-like shape. You can cross your left ankle over your right thigh if that feels comfortable for you. Maybe your right hand grabs your left wrist, gently pulling a little bit deeper. Hold it here for one more breath. Stretching further. Gently release your bind. Walk your feet over through the middle. This time walking your feet over to the left side of your mat, reaching your hands over to the left side. If you'd like to deepen that stretch, your left wrist grabs your right wrist, stretching. Lost my AirPod. You can place your right ankle over your left thigh. I think my dogs have a timer on me. They always know when Shavasana is coming. Deep side bend over to the left side. You can unbind your right foot at any time. You can release your hands at any time. Hold it here for one more breath. And then come back to the middle. Release your feet onto the floor. Pull yourself into a tiny ball. One more time. Grabbing your shins, grabbing your hamstrings, maybe rolling side to side. Gently releasing your head onto the floor. Extend your legs out long. Heels touch, toes fall open, palms down by your side. You can also bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Any final resting pose that's comfortable for you. Squeeze your toes, maybe as if you're trying to pick something up with your toes. Squeeze your calves, your thighs, your glutes. Clench your fists, draw your shoulders up towards your ears, and then relax everything. Just letting everything go, closing your eyes. Gently wiggling your toes, wiggling your fingers, coming back to your breath. Draw your knees in towards your chest. Roll to the left or right side, cradling your head in your hand, and then gently pressing yourself up to a seated position. Reach your arms up high overhead. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Thank you all so much for sharing your practice with me each and every week. The light love in me honors the light love in you. Namaste. Thank you all so much.